Welcome to Call Me Didi, everyone. I'm your host, Diva.
And I'm your host, Sanchi, and let's get into today's episode. And of course, before we start our episode, we have to do our highlight of the week. So, Diva, do you want to go first?
Yes, I can go first. My highlight of the week, which I'm going to assume is your highlight of the week as well, it's that we hit 5,000 followers on Instagram.
Yes!
And yesterday we went out for a really nice dinner to celebrate that as well.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. Like, it was a really fancy Thai place. And if you know me, you would know my recent love for Thai food. It was really, really good. If anybody wants that recommendation in Adelaide, we'll tell you. Just
Yes.
message us.
Yes.
It was really good. So we went and did that, and it was like a really special thing. And then I feel like this whole week's been really positive. Like, we've seen a lot of growth come for the podcast. A lot of people have
Yeah.
reached out. So that's been really nice. Is that your highlight as well?
Very similar, but
Okay.
like the highlight was also like before that when we went to see the location and the beautiful sun going down
Yeah,
and
that was
just
cute.
everything over there. And just the vibes were really good yesterday after work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I like Fridays post work. Just do something in the city.
Yeah.
Get a nice dinner.
Yeah.
We've decided that we're gonna try a few restaurants, like different cuisines, different nice restaurants
Around Adelaide.
around Adelaide.
Yeah.
So send us recommendations as well if you have any.
Yeah, because we would always talk about, oh, let's go there and there, but we would never put the effort to actually go there, and we would like wait around for other friends to make some plans and all that.
Yeah.
But this time we decided that, yeah, we have each other, so we can just go if we want to after work. Why not?
Exactly. And I'm a bit done with Indian food. I don't know if I should say this out loudly. Like, I love Indian food. It's my favorite cuisine ever. It'll remain that. But
Yeah.
I'm done eating out Indian food.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I kind of want to now experiment and
Yeah.
try new cuisines.
Be like Japanese, Korean. Love it.
Yum.
Anyways.
Anyway,
About.
let's get into today's episode, shall we? We're talking about how to handle a friend who's always competitive.
Yeah. It's a very interesting topic because I think everybody has faced this in their life. Everybody would have at least one or the other instance in their life when they've felt like, oh, they have a few friends in their life who are like a bit competitive.
Yeah, have you?
Yes. But you know what? I've realized it was when I was young, not recently. And it was probably because when I was young, of course, like I wasn't mature enough to spot it and know how to deal with it. But I think now, like as I go, I think I'm very like intentional about who I come close to and who I call my close friends. And now I don't think I engage with people who are like that, or like I don't actively talk to them very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've also had my fair share of friends, and I've met them at different stages. Used to happen a lot more when you were younger. Because at that stage, you don't really think of friends critically, which I feel like you never should about friendships anyway.
Yeah.
But it's important to think about who you're surrounding yourself with.
Yes.
Right? But you don't give that much thought when you're younger.
Of
so
course.
you have more of those people when you're younger. But I have seen that even in my young adult years. University, I used to see a lot of it. Like, in university, you would have friends who would tell you they've not studied, but they have.
Yeah.
And then they would go, and then they would score really well. That's a sign of competitiveness, right?
Oh my god, yeah. I actually didn't realize that was the thing. Yes, you're so right.
Yeah. And when you're going out, for example, and they're looking at what you're wearing and they're trying to compare it with what they're wearing, and they may not say it directly, but in comments, you know that they're trying to compare themselves with you.
Yeah.
And it's a bit irritating, no? Because why are you doing that? Why aren't you happy just the way you are? It doesn't matter how the other person is looking. You need to be secure in yourself. Or let's say there's an opportunity that comes their way. Like a work opportunity or something that they know that maybe it's not good for them, but it might be good for you. But maybe they won't tell you because they're just like...
They don't want good for you
Exactly.
because they don't want like to see you grow.
They don't want you to win. So there's lots of instances where you can spot these behaviors.
Yeah.
These are just tiny things, and I don't think they won't be mean about it. They're not saying anything bad, but it's just you know that there's a sense of comparison there.
Yeah, that they want to feel like that they are better than you.
Yeah.
So they try to and probably it's like in their head that they think that if they will see you grow, they won't grow.
Yeah.
So it's like a very scarcity mindset, you can say, where they think that there's not enough going around.
Yeah.
And if like there's not enough for everyone.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But like in my head, that was like in my school when, you know, when sometimes you get more marks and like they get a bit mad about you getting more marks.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
have a story like that.
Tell me.
In school, I remember I was in the 5th or 6th grade and I used to be like a topper in school. Like I would get really good marks. And I don't know if this was a thing for you, but once they give you the paper, they would always give you some time to check your paper and like you can go back to the teacher and be like, oh, why have you got marks here? Or
Yeah.
It's called a recheck, right?
Yeah.
And you can do one recheck. So I remember once, I think it was an English exam or something, and I'd scored really well. And I wasn't there in class that day to check my paper when the results came out. And I'd gotten the highest in class, and I had one friend who was very competitive. He was always competing, trying to get the best marks in school. And we always had this thing going, ki who's going to score more. So that day I remember I wasn't in class and this boy has gone and he said, oh, I can recheck her paper because she's not here to check hers. And he went and got my marks cut.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine?
That's so petty though.
It is, but we were in 5th grade. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that-
fine.
True. But you know what? That makes me realize that
Yeah.
how this thing really stems from such a young age, and why it stems is probably from your household. You know, like when you are born and brought up in a household, either you are in a big joint family or even if you're in a small family, but your parents or your grandparents or someone in your family kind of encourages that behavior of competitiveness, and they try to compare you with your sibling or with other people in the family, you know. And they are like, and like they would constantly try and tell you that they are doing better than you or whatever. And you as a kid feel so bad, and you
Yeah.
feel like that you have to like kind of compete with other people to
True.
like go ahead in life. So that behavior, I think, stems so often from the type of household you're brought up in.
Yeah, and I think it's subconscious. Like when people display this behavior, I don't think they do it intentionally. I don't think it's like nobody ever wants to be a bad person, na? At least I don't think they do. But I think it's subconscious. Like they don't know that they're showing these patterns and they're behaving this way, but they do.
Yeah.
And you know what I've realized? That I've seen friends like this and I've always been like, no, they don't mean it, or maybe I'm overthinking it, or maybe it's not so bad, or like you feel like you thinking of them as a bad person makes you as a bad person because you're thinking badly of them, even though it's affecting you. But I think the first step there is to like validate how you feel.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's making you feel a certain way and you're feeling like when I have a competitive friend, I always feel like I'm under just somebody's like looking at my every move and how I'm performing and everything I do. It's like being observed, and I just don't like it. Like
Yeah.
I don't like that feeling.
It's like suffocating.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So I think that you should just validate how you feel. Like it's completely fair to feel the way you feel, and if a person is behaving a certain way, which like why don't you feel that way about other people? There's a reason why you feel that way about them, right? So just validate it first and come to
Yeah.
terms with it.
Yeah, that's actually so true. But also, you know what works for me is like that you can only change your own behavior, and you can't really change the other person if they are not willing to change themselves. So instead of like trying to like change them and trying to make them understand all the time, I think it's like you can try and communicate how you're feeling like once and twice maybe, but if you feel like it's not,
But it's a tricky conversation. Like, how do you tell someone you're displaying competitiveness and competitive behaviors and I don't appreciate it? I mean, I think you can if you're really ballsy and like if you want to, then you should, in fact.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people don't want to have that conversation because you feel like you might be completely wrong. Maybe they're not like that, and you know. At least that's how I felt in my experience.
Maybe you're right. Like it really depends on what type of situation you're in, and like
Yeah.
what's the equation that's going around with
Yeah.
your friend,
Yeah.
or whoever the person is. But if you feel like you can have a conversation, great. But if you feel like you can't, and you feel like like you really want to deal with this in some sort of manner, you can only change your own actions.
That's so true.
Yeah, so all you can do is remove yourself from the situation or the relationship, or if you feel like that's not too easy, maybe like distance yourself in some capacity. Try and not engage with them and fuel that energy more. Like, don't do that. Try to like keep your successes and things that are happening good in your life to yourself, especially from that person.
Yeah.
Because if you try and like show them that, oh, this is happening in my life, and you know that they feel jealous from you, like, why do you want to waste your own energy and like have that weird toxic energy in your life? Like, just keep it to yourself. You don't need to tell them. Just be happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just distance yourself, because you don't need to feel validated by winning over them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really boils down to how secure you feel in yourself, I reckon.
I think so. I think it's just about how you handle that friendship as well, because it's tricky. Like, you know that everything is okay, but they just have this competitive side, and it just becomes so tricky to navigate that friendship. But at the end of the day, you don't want any drama in your life, right? Like, I don't like drama.
I don't like drama at all.
And I don't want to be dealing with this. You've got 10 other things to worry about. This is
Yeah.
not something you want to be worrying about.
Yeah.
So you might as well just distance yourself, cut it off if you have to. It's not worth it.
It's not.
And friendship should always feel easy, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. Like, it shouldn't feel like, oh, like there's something over you all the time. They're meant to improve your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're
I
meant to
agree.
make you happy.
Yeah. Cool. So I think the key here is really that, firstly, validate how you feel. Secondly, I think it's subconscious behavior that they're displaying. They're probably not doing it intentionally, but it's still affecting you. So acknowledge that. Thirdly, what can you do? What is in your hands right now to actually distance yourself from this friendship, if that's what you've decided? And then actually do that. You know, like, actually act on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love this. And with that, I think we can conclude this episode.
Yes. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yes. And please do leave us a comment on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever you're watching, and take a screenshot, send it to your friend, put it on your story. It helps us grow and bring this community together.
Cool. We'll see you in the next one.
See you. Bye.